You know, if I do nothing else, and if a lot of wholesalers do nothing else and just buy a good amount of properties, you know, using the rule of 7, like that's it'll be worth 50 million bucks in, you know, before I'm 50, and I do nothing else. And so what I'm getting at is the gold for me is in this business.
Mic check.
I'm good.
Mic check. Mic check.
You can read about success all day long, but if you don't put in the work, the mindset, execution, and the hustle behind your vision, it just remains a dream.
When everything goes wrong, you have to take all the responsibility.
We uncover what high-level entrepreneurs, business owners do to rise up from hustling daily.
So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances.
The world becomes your library to help you to become better at your craft.
Join me as I share with you actionable tips to help you grow your business, learn skills, and help you level up in your self-development journey.
Your #1 spot for business and personal growth is the Online Hustlers Podcast with your host, Esteban Andrade.
Every day I'm hustling.
What's going on, everyone that is watching this episode, the new episode of the Online Hustlers Podcast, where we're bringing badass players, real estate players, entrepreneurs in this podcast. Actually, regardless of where they come from, they are diamond type, and they're actually going to be having a conversation with me because we're going to extract as much as possible so that you get a lot of value. You actually start applying some of these tactics, strategies, secrets, anything that they have to come and provide to you for your business and real estate business. So today we have a special guest that has been viral in a few weeks, or for a few weeks now. And this guest is a landlord. This guest is a real estate investor. He does rehabs. He is a wholesale entrepreneur, and recently has became super viral in Miami, and it just keeps growing. Recently, he's been invited to iHeartRadio. He's been invited to a few broadcasting or news broadcasts and a few TV show or something like that. No,
Channel 7, things like that.
All right, TV channel. But it's cool because he also does very well for his business. He does over 100 deals a year, and now it's to the point where he's getting millions, like over 7-8 million views on TikTok, and continues growing. So he's been reached out by a couple people, and I'm fortunate that I know this guy and that I had asked him to come to the podcast, because now we're going to talk about a bunch of different things that he can provide us, how he actually went viral, 8 million views on TikTok, how he's doing 100 deals a year, and how he's crushing it in a very tough market where a lot of people actually consider Miami a tough market. A lot of people consider Miami to be like one of those markets that they don't want to mess with because it's competitive and very high expensive homes, and the people here are also like kind of different than the rest of the United States. To me, Miami is like an extension to South America, so it's like you have to deal with the people here that live in Miami, man. But man, thank you for coming.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, man. This is awesome. I love the studio. Come in. It's like really cool. It's such a cool vibe in here, honestly.
Thank you. Again, guys, if you guys get any value out of this, there's 60 seconds that you have just to leave us a review, 5 stars. Tell us how you liked it. And also subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Let's do it.
All right. So Raul, man, so tell me who you are. How'd you get to 8 million views on TikTok? And what's your background? Because I know that you are like the Torre Montana, Miami, man.
That's fun. I mean, it's a loaded question, but it's crazy because, man, when it comes to the views and the videos, I've been posting videos for a while. I haven't been extremely consistent. Probably in the last year and a half I have been, and it's wild because you hear it like how just one video can take off and things, and it hadn't happened for me until recently, but I don't have a formula yet. If I wish I did. Honestly, I just stayed consistent putting videos, and it happened to be that I raised a tenant's rent, and that's the one that went viral, which is very controversial. So, but no, I mean, I'm born and raised in Miami, and I don't know, man, I just always had a will to do something. My father, he came from Cuba. you know, when he was, I think like 12 years old. Well, he went to Venezuela first and then he came here, sold it, made profit, and then bought 2 and bought 3. And then he opened up a car dealership. And, you know, for 30 something years, he had a great car dealership down here. And that was like my path, you know, was to go and, you know, sell cars there, eventually maybe become a manager, maybe own it one day. And I don't know. It wasn't for me. I tried, bro. If you're watching this and you've sold cars before, you know what I'm talking about. Like there's just some aura around it. But anyways, I just kind of always realized that real estate was the game I wanted to play. I started listening to podcasts, YouTube, found some mentors, and that's how I started. And it took me 3 months to get my first deal. My first mentor was Jim Van Dyke. If you guys are listening to this from Miami, I'm sure you guys know who he is. He's an OG in the game, really good guy. And it took me 3 months of get my first deal, making offers, sending letters, spending money, you know, driving the houses, the whole thing. Finally got my first little $6,000 check. And that's it. I was like, this is it. Then, you know,
6,000 is what it took you to actually go all in into this. $6,000.
Yeah, I'm cheap, bro. I'm like I'm cheap. You can find me in the streets. I'm cheap out there. No, so it was just that proof, man. And it was like, I mean, 6,000 was a lot for me back then, and it still was a pretty good amount of money. But like, I think it was just a proof. Like just seeing the check. I remember I drove to the title company to pick up the check. You know, I don't even do that anymore. But like, I drove. I met the buyer. I met the title agent. And I got the check. And so I started seeing all this was real. You know, the deal, I did it like over the phone at the time. And I found the buyer over the phone. And so everything was happening through email and over the phone. And it wasn't until I went to the office, I shook hands, I saw the paperwork, I saw the check. I'm like, oh man, this is real. Let's go. And I've always kind of had like a nerdy, addictive personality. I was not very popular in high school, you know, like normal guy.
I mean, you do your own Google ads, so
yeah,
you can tell.
That's where we bond for sure. So man, I just got addicted to it. I'm like, let's go and do a bunch of deals and figure this out.
Okay. So, all right. So you came from the automotive world. A lot of people that come from the automotive world, they get experience from sales, and somehow it gets transcribed well into wholesaling. Because at the end of the day, this is a sales and marketing organization that you need to build systems to keep helping more homeowners in many ways.
Yeah.
But you said that your parents continued that business? Like
my father did for a while, probably as of like maybe 3 years ago is when he closed it, but he was in business for like 35 years or something. Yeah.
Okay.
He continued for a while.
All right. And so when you got into wholesaling, did you try any like flips, rehabs, or you just stuck to like flipping contracts?
Oh, that's a good question. It probably took me a year before I bought my first flip. So within my first year, I bought my first 2 rentals. So first year I got in business, I was doing deals on the multiple listing service on the MLS. That's how Jim at the time taught me, or my previous mentor. So he would teach me how to find deals on the MLS, make an offer, and then wholesale it for like, you know, 2,000, 5,000, 7,000, things like that.
Yeah.
And then after doing that for a little while, I saved up some money and I bought my first rental property. It was a little apartment and for 61,000. And then I bought another property, which was going to be a flip, but I ended up keeping as a rental. And that's the first and only time ever that I borrowed money from my family, from my mother or father. And my mom lent me the money at 15% interest rate. Till this day, that's the highest rate I've ever paid a lender. It was to my mother.
Wait, did she try to negotiate with you, or you just gave her, you were generous with like 15%?
No. Because like the deal kind of came really fast. I'm like, crap, I need to close in this deal in like 3 days. You know, one of those. And I didn't have the money. I had like, the house was 47,000. I had 20,000 saved up. And I'm like, Mom, could you lend me the other 27? Like, I don't want it free. Like, lend it to me. And she's like, okay, 15% interest. Then she just named it. I'm like, really? I didn't want to negotiate with her. I'm like, all right, fine, Mom. So whatever.
She's a hustler.
Yeah. And then I paid her off within a year because I'm like, this is eating up my cash flow right here. So, but I don't blame her, you know? I think it was a very valuable lesson for me. I mean, I was 21. So I didn't like have too much money or experience or anything, but I'm kind of glad she did that.
Your first deal worked by your mother.
Yeah. And she made probably more money than me the first year, but I'm happy it worked out. But yeah, so it took me probably, I would say within the first year, I bought my first 2 properties that ended up being rentals. It wasn't until maybe like year 2 or year 3 that I started getting more into fix and flips and buying properties and doing more creative things with them.
All right, going back to the topic, like, so your parents helped you at the beginning, basically getting that deal done. Your mother helped you at the beginning because you wanted to find someone that can lend you the money.
Yeah. It was a really quick close, and I need some money, and I probably could have gone to a hard money lender, but I asked her, and she said, "Hey, I'll do it 15%, probably a lot more than I would have paid with the hard money guy." But I rather, so she did help me out in that, and that was the last time that I borrowed. Well, there was one other time that my dad, after I had done probably like 200 deals, like this was maybe like 2 years ago, I'd done like 300 deals, 400, whatever. And there was a deal. And my dad was like, "Hey, if you ever have a good deal, like I'll lend you the money." And I said, "Okay." After I did a bunch of them, cause I have like that ego, and I didn't want to get money from my parents until like I did the business myself and made a lot of money myself. So I went ahead and did that for a few years. And then my dad's like, "All right." So it was $60,000 loan. It was for a little house here. I think I was buying the house for like 70. He lent me 60. I put 10, and I was fixing it all up, a little thing like that. And it was supposed to be a year loan. And after like 3 months, he's like, "Hey, can I have the money back?" And I'm like, "Dad, this was supposed to be a year loan, but whatever." Here, I wrote him a check. I gave him the 60 grand back, and that was that. I never borrowed money from my parents again.
So you've done 100 deals in average, and I guess like the last year you did 100 deals on the last year. What's one deal? How much is one deal? Oh, pause. Instacart.
Yeah, I got the Instacart.
There you go.
He smells the good stuff.
Yeah, pause. And okay, come here. Hey, you're the co-host. I know you're also security, and you also are interruption person.
Host.
All right. And hey, come here.
Come on.
All right. They just put the groceries in there. All right, let's go. So you've done 100 deals in a year in Miami. What's one deal worth in Miami, the city of Miami?
Well, yeah. So to clarify, we don't do all of our deals in Miami. We do mainly Florida. I would say probably 60% of our business in Florida, and then other 40% in different parts of the country.
Okay.
But when I did start, it was all Miami. Like my first 3 years were only Dade and Broward County, period. Like there was no virtual wholesale deals anywhere. Currently, we've been a little bit everywhere. But a deal worth in Miami is, for us, probably about 30 grand, 30 to 40 grand, I would say, per deal on a wholesale level.
Yeah. Is that because Miami has such a high median home price, and you can get like really good buyers too? You can have very discounted properties because of the homeowners. Like why $30,000 in Miami?
The demand, and also like you can kind of to project it, you could say that wholesalers get about 10 to 12%, fee of the price of the property. So if the median price in Miami is 300 grand, then a $30,000 assignment fee is pretty reasonable. So that's the reason why. I mean, the prices in Miami have gone up. They're pretty much always at above 300 grand. So that's one factor in that. And also just the demand is so high. There's so many people living here. There's a lot of cash over here, whether it's clean or dirty cash, doesn't really, not really for us to decide, but there's just so much cash. There's people want to spend money in Miami. There's people who want to invest here. It's just a great city, man.
Let's talk about the Miami experience being a wholesaler and a real estate investor. Cause like homeowners here, I mean, you got here all the Hispanics, South Americans, Central Americans, Caribbean. And I bet homeowners are different in Miami. Like you have to deal with them differently.
Oh yeah.
Than like a regular, white collar American in the north or something. Like, tell me about that experience.
Oh my God. I mean, I have stories for days of stuff like that. And any other like wholesaler investor must have tons of stories, but I mean, the stories like start to flood in. I could think of one, but I mean, just the experience is crazy out here because yes, people from South America or even people that have lived here their whole lives, they've seen the city grow so much, or people are just moving here. It's just a very hustle mentality. So everyone is a real estate agent, or everyone is really smart, or everyone knows everything. And there's nothing wrong with that. I actually love that about the city. But yes, when you are conducting business here or trying to get a house at a discounted price, it comes up with its challenges, you know?
What are those challenges?
Man, they know what it's worth, and they know that their neighbor can buy it, or they could just list it themselves because they went to real estate school and things like this. So those are the challenges. Like the competition is more than just a competition. So in Miami, instead of the competition being another wholesaler or real estate agent, the competition is that the seller themselves is a real estate agent, or their neighbor, or their sister, or their brother, or their, whatever, or they're an investor themselves. They flipped a house in the past, things like that. I was talking to a seller yesterday. They have a house in Fort Lauderdale. It's a house and a lot in Fort Lauderdale. And she was talking to me. She was telling me how she just flipped, 2 houses in Sebring, Florida. And she's telling me how she's done all this construction and all this stuff. And it's like, she's trying to sell me her house. I'm trying to buy it like at 50% of value. That brings up its challenges. And she's telling me all the competition. She's like, oh, because we're like top 3 ranked sites in Florida. So there's like the other 2 top sites ranked she's telling me them over the phone. Oh, I already spoke to this guy from this company and this guy from this company. And, your offer is the lowest. So you got to come up here. It's like that, bro, that happens everywhere, but it happens a lot in Miami.
Yeah.
And it can be a lot of fun, but it's pretty frustrating.
Do you also think it's also the Hispanic culture that is very negotiator?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I grew up, my family's Cuban, Puerto Rican and stuff. And you told me you're Colombian. I've been to Colombia a few times and I have a lot of friends. My girlfriend's Colombian. Anyways, this culture, we're hustlers. Our countries were not, they're not in the conditions that you could just kind of relax and live off the government, or, it's not like free education. It's different. So you have to hustle to survive in these countries. And that kind of that gets deep rooted into the family. And then, your dad teaches you and your mom, and you see how your mom's hustling on this, things like that. So I absolutely think the Hispanic culture does it's a big deal from.
So if you master the Miami property acquisition, then basically the rest of the country is like a piece of cake, or
yeah, I would say so. I mean, probably some people won't agree, but I would say from my experience, when I did solely South Florida for a few years, and then when I started going nationwide, it was not hard to scale nationwide fast. We did a bunch of deals in Vegas and California and Texas, and it wasn't hard. Let's call it that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you got the Miami experience. Yeah. That's funny. Now you also so coming from the 8 million views perspective in TikTok, you called this tenant, and this tenant sounds like she's also Hispanic.
Yes.
She is.
She's Hispanic. And it was an interesting situation, and if you're watching, go check it out on TikTok and stuff. But
where can they find it?
Raul Bolufe, the real Raul Bolufe on TikTok, or it's on my Instagram, Raul Bolufe. But I mean, it was a tough situation. It definitely is controversial. Having to raise a tenant from 1,100 to 2,200, or have that conversation. It happens every day. You guys could see all that. Actually, we have part 4 coming out today as we film this. So we have part 4 coming out today, but as you could check that out. But the bigger thing that comes along with that, and what I really feel is the reason why we got so many views and so much attention, is that there's 2 sides to every story. You have the tenant side, which they do have a point. Oh shoot, they raised my rent from this to this, damn. And then you also have the landlord side. So yes, are any of, it's kind of they're both correct. They both have points. They're both right, and they're both can play the victim if they want to. But what I'm saying is, that seems like the bigger problem, and that's why I think it got so many views and so much exposure, was because there's a lot of tenants out there, but then there's also a lot of landlords, and because of the inflation and things that have been going on in the market, it's made it a lot harder for both parties. To own a rental property is gotten a lot harder and a lot more expensive, which means that the tenants have to pay for that. And a lot of it we can control, we can't control as landlords, and the tenants can't control. So that's what I feel is the bigger issue. There's a lot of factors happening in the economy that's kind of having both parties, the landlords and the tenants, lose a little grip, and it's inflating both sides. And it's messed up. But I think that there's a lot to be uncovered there.
Do you think that does someone have a fault there's or something has a fault, or you're inclined to more like it's just the economy, it's happening, like, or
yeah, it's kind of just the way it goes. Things go up, things go down. There's inflation, there's deflation. Like, we're just in a period that there's inflation. They printed a lot of money. There was a pandemic that happened, and in exchange for that, there had to have been a pump in the market to keep us somewhat afloat, right? When you take away people's ability to work and you take away people's abilities to go and produce income or go to the office and things like this, that comes with a consequence. The consequence was printing money, and in exchange for that, prices of things go up. In exchange for that, interest rates go up. In exchange for that, payments go up, and taxes and insurance. And look, I encourage everyone to hopefully have investment properties one day if you want. And my message to that is there's two sides to the story. And my tenant is she's not incorrect, but also as a landlord, we don't get into buying properties to lose money. And it's not completely our fault that, insurance has gone up 30% just this year, just in the last couple months here, taxes have gone up, and that kind of happens, when the cost of like milk and chicken, eggs, I saw something about eggs have gone up like astronomically. My mom started to she bought like a hen, and she put chickens in there to get her own eggs.
She bought a hen, and she bought chickens?
And she got like 7 chickens, and she has it in her backyard. She's like, I'm tired of paying all this money for eggs. I'm like, Mom, you're crazy, bro. So anyways, that's what happens, bro. When shit goes up, people do different things.
Yeah, you see a lot of chickens in Miami. It's funny.
You do.
You see chickens in Brickell. And then like Brickell is like high-end city. Yeah. And then there is like a chicken in the middle of nowhere.
Only Miami, bro.
Have you seen Only in Date, the page?
Yeah. That's a good page.
It's a good page, man. And I actually met MiamiComedy.com, the guy that, he doesn't run that page, but he's friends with the guy that runs that page. And he also has had the comedian that was the face of that page, Marcelo Hernandez. Because if no one has checked out that Only in Date, you'll see that Miami, South Florida itself, a lot of crazy things happen that don't happen. That's why people say, "Oh, is that the Florida man?" The Florida man that happened in Florida. No wonder. The Florida man, the guy grabbing an alligator with a smoke on with his cigar in his mouth, and just like casually opening his mouth.
This is a cool shit that happens out here, man.
Yeah. So if you do Miami real estate investing, the rest will become easier.
If you can get deals in Miami real estate, if you can wholesale deals in Miami real estate, the rest of the country becomes easier.
Yeah. Well, obviously, like most of the listeners here, real estate investors, wholesalers, real estate entrepreneurs, they're in this game, right? So they will understand. But so what would you say something that maybe tenants will go rattled, or like they'll absolutely not believe, or it's hard for them to believe? What is something that tenants would not agree with you at all on their perspective, even if you try to teach them that this is a business also for you?
Yeah, I think from my experience, tenants don't agree with raising a crazy amount of rent. So tenants don't agree with, I'm going from 1,100 to 2,200, but tenants typically can agree from going from 1,100 to 12 or 1,300. So, and it happened to me, like personally, and again, I'm not trying to play a victim. This is literally just factual. What happened? I lived in a condo not far from here in downtown. I was paying $3,100 a month. And after a year, they decided to raise it to, after a year, they decided to raise it to $6,500 a month. And there was nothing I could do about it. I just left, and that's life. I got to suck it up. So I didn't agree with it, but I just had to leave. I think tenants, from my experience, they don't agree with large raises. They don't agree with landlords when it comes to fixing up the place. Obviously, that's a big thing. It's like, oh, let's fix this part up. Don't fix this part up. Or a lot of tenants won't agree with that as well, I feel.
Yeah.
Like fixing stuff up and raising astronomical amounts, they're never going to agree, even though the landlord might have the right, or it's their business to do. Those are a few of the things that like come to mind.
Yeah. So what type of messages have you been getting after that? Like after 8 million views, and what are
Should we read
saying?
some?
Yeah, let's read some of the.
Let's read some. I deleted my. I deleted my Instagram during the week, and I don't have it right now, but I get downloaded. We can get it, but I get emails every day, calling me scum lord. They're telling me I hope you die. I want to hang you. Some people got to my mother because my mom was defending me on the comments in Instagram, and they started writing to her like, oh, I'll kill you too, stuff like that.
Wow. Okay.
There was I got one comment that the guy said, hey, does this address mean anything to you? And it was my office address. And so people are kind of like finding out where I work and where I live. So it's getting a little scary, but I'm not worried about it. Those are some of the comments I get, man. It's been interesting.
Man, so people are literally sending you threats, but okay, this happens all the time with famous people.
Yeah, all the time.
People that send they say controversial stuff, people that say that they don't agree, especially like when they talk about politics, when they talk about any type of religion stuff.
The Matrix.
Something going on, like Andrew Tate, for example, when they talk about masculinity and and feminism or whatever, all this. So it happens all the time. So I don't think you should.
Yeah, no. But it was weird, right? Like I didn't let it affect me, but when you have so many people calling you crazy things so frequently, it definitely was like a shock, especially since my intent was not negatively to the world. I was just trying to show what really happens with tenants and what really happens in real estate. I've been recording myself for a while, making a bunch of different calls. And, I have calls talking to potential employees. I have calls with sellers. I have calls with buyers. I have all these types of calls that I've posted online. And I do it to show the realness of it. It's not just all like checks and fancy cars and jets and stuff. Like there's real shit to this. And that was my intent. So when I get all those death threats and stuff, I was like, shit, I guess people don't like the truth.
Yeah, man. Did you respond to any of them?
Yeah, I did some.
What did they say?
I did some. We would just go back and forth. I tried some people called me. I called them back. They wouldn't answer. And then I would just respond. But I'm always respectful. Like I understand they're coming from a place of maybe they feel hurt or maybe they can relate.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to like disrespect anything, but I did respond to a few. I got called the Andrew Tate of real estate.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. What's funny? Like when I mentioned the death threats, when I first heard of Andrew Tate, I heard something about him like talking about security, and he always had like a pack of security, and if he'd get a haircut, he would close down the whole shop and all this nonsense. And I'm like, once I started, I got like a smidget of like attention online. 8 million is nothing compared to what goes on in the traffic, but I got that little smidget, and I get all these death threats. So I can imagine someone like him, or someone like Donald Trump, or someone like Kanye, like some of these controversial figures. I understand now why they have so much security. This is just a smidget. And even me, I was like, oh shit, should I like get something like that?
Yeah.
But if like this is going on and on, I'd be like, fuck yeah, I'm getting a team of security. I don't care.
Well, Mr. Beast, who is the YouTuber guy that has billions of views.
Yeah, he's crazy.
He talks about how he doesn't live a lavish lifestyle. He doesn't have Lambos, all this stuff. However, like he lives in a house that is a very common house, whatever, traditional. But I think he actually didn't get jumped, but he got broke into. And it seems like even if you actually get some sort of popularity or some sort of like level of status, you still have to upgrade where you live and what you use on a daily basis to protect you. Because the more attention or the more impact you're getting or the more money you're making and people notice it, even though we're in North America, we're in the US, there's still people that would have bad intentions, right? Especially if you're on social media like Mr. Beast. Cristiano Ronaldo can go out by himself and like do their own stuff. Can't even go grocery shopping.
Nothing.
Without like being camouflage or something like that. Yeah. Nothing. So you having 8 million views and you're already kind of seeing a little bit of that, the wave is crazy. It's crazy to me.
I know it's tiny, but just to see that little wave, it opened my mind up to like people like Mr. Beast or the Paul brothers. Like these people must get infinite amount of death threats and stuff. Like, it just becomes like a thing that you're like, I understand now, I understand now. I'm not there yet, clearly, but now I get it. I'm like, oh, this Andrew Tate, maybe he's not that crazy. I make sense. And he's very controversial. So I really understand him,
It's funny because you decided to document what real estate investors do all the time.
This happens every day, bro.
All the time.
Every day.
All our clients have gone through one or two, at least, where they have to evict tenants. They have to kick out squatters, right? Imagine you actually filming kicking out a squatter. Like how bad would it look? Or how many views would that get? Right?
I don't know, man. But like people love drama, you know. And I think people like the controversial stuff because it brings out the emotional part of them, and people want to have an opinion, and they want to be heard and they want to be listened to. And the myself and the people commenting that this platform, it's a triple win, It's entertainment and both parties can be heard. This is kind of like this podcast. I think why podcasting has done so well in the last, decade or so. But anyways, people feel heard, and like something that brings out an emotion allows them to portray their opinion, and then other people can comment on their comment and heart it and share it, and then they make fun of each other, and then they make fun of me. And so it's just like, how many views would that get? Would be a lot, I think I saw one of that got like 7 million views that actually, Alec had shown me, but I didn't want to go down that route.
So it wasn't just it wasn't just like, oh, you just decided to like record and it was just that. It was actually planned out, like a recording. Okay, I'm gonna call this person,
right?
And you're gonna set up the cameras and things like that. There is a process towards creating content.
Yeah.
And all the content that now you're getting, like, can you walk us through, as a real estate investor, as a wholesaler that is, kind of like increasing his brand, and you're growing your brand towards. So when you work on your brand, there's several benefits out of it. Well, you not only get exposure of what you do, and people can trust if it's a buyer, then they can trust that your social media page, your YouTube channel shows that you actually actively do deals and have a team, right? But also it's great for like recruiting, hiring, ultimately attracting talent. Maybe there is people that they don't know how to close deals. They can bring them to you, and you do joint ventures,
That's
JVs. Right. There's also sellers that want to potentially bring you properties that they see you as someone that could potentially buy their house, and many other benefits out of it. So how is that thought process, or how is the entire like branding content day to day that you're having right now?
That's a good question. Yeah. I mean, I first realized how powerful this was probably like 2 years ago is when I really got more serious about it. Right now, my process is mainly short form stuff. My end goal is to be on YouTube and have long form videos and do more podcasts like this. And I kind of like more long form stuff personally, but the short form stuff is incredible right now. I think anyone watching this that wants to get into content, I would focus there first personally. But my process is I pick one day a week, depending on my schedule. And it maybe takes me about 3 to 4 hours. And everything I want to record, I just do it in that day. And I have like little microphones I bought from Amazon, the ones you put here, pretty simple. I got a little selfie stick that rotates. I don't know what it's called, like kind of like a gimbal type thing.
Yeah.
I got one of those for my iPhone. I don't even use a camera. I just use my iPhone. I use the little thing. And I'll get somebody from my office and say, hey, can you record me for 3 or 4 hours? I have a friend of mine that he will send me some ideas. I pay him to do so. He sends me ideas, and he sends me and he does the editing. Sorry. And he does the editing. So he sends me ideas, but I also like to do a lot of my own ideas. So I said, I want to be a part of the creative process. I want to be in front of the camera, and that's it. And you do the editing, you post it, you do all that stuff. And that is some of the stuff, the call was my idea, but he told me, look, if you're going to do calls, do them on this day. And so always when I do calls, I just wait till like a Thursday, and I do it when I'm recording. I put the microphone here and I just bang out calls.
You're calling sellers or buyers?
I call sellers, buyers, potential employees, everything.
Okay.
Everything. I mean, I'm still pretty involved in the wholesale business. So I just record myself just doing stuff throughout the day, and I have rentals and Airbnbs and stuff. So I just record myself, good, bad or ugly, you know, like that was an ugly part of it. You know, I just showed it. But anyway, so 1 day a week, I try to bang out like 7 to 10 short form videos, and I'll probably try to do one long form. So like a horizontally filmed thing, kind of sitting on a couch like this, you know, talking some ideas, or maybe a topic that I find trending, or something I do want to talk about, or something that's helped me grow this past month, this past week, this past year, etc.
At what point should a real estate investor, wholesaler, real estate entrepreneur should start putting content out there?
Oh, yesterday.
Yesterday?
Easy. Yeah, easy answer. Yesterday. Every step of the journey, bro. Every step, even if you don't know anything. That's the best. That's a beauty. Like, even if you don't know anything, if you just post that, I mean, it's incredible. Like the amount of support you'll get. You're gonna get some haters, you know, it's just gonna happen. You're gonna get some people, but yesterday. Yeah, yesterday.
So there is obviously, like, what you're saying, it just totally correlates with what Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V. I'm just gonna say Gary V. What he preaches on, which is document your journey, because people are seeing this and this compounds over time. Oh yeah. Like, see, for example, I know an example of a YouTuber. Her name is Lily Invests. It's this YouTuber where she essentially from the beginning, she started like, I'm gonna go and start, putting offers in my first properties, all this blah blah blah, and she's put on YouTube. So her first steps in the business ended up being documented, put the effort into like put in video. Now she's wholesaling. Awesome. She's buying properties. Now she's getting offers of multifamily properties, being partners to raise capital too, because now she has built some sort of like a distribution network. Like she has built an audience, right, that believes in her, because she's there. She's been there from the beginning. And now she has attracted great talent, great investors, private money. She's been in other podcasts. But it's just an example that even if you have not started and you want to build a great business in the future, brand should not be looked upon. Like if you think about it, the people that when you start a business, your first focus is revenue generating activities.
That's right.
Yes. Lead generation and sales. 100%.
Yeah.
That should be your 100% focus. But when you start branding yourself and documenting your journey, that brand in 1 or 2 years compounds so big that it's going to either at some point even overcome the active lead gen that you're doing, like the active marketing that you're doing. Like, that brand, that compound effect is going to bring you referrals, is going to bring you special potential partnerships, JVs, free leads,
everything,
all of that. So I missed out on that because I did not put myself out there like this, like doing YouTube or social media from the beginning. So I paid only like direct response marketing, like cold calling, cold messaging, Facebook ads. All this, I did this grind work from the beginning, and then I started working on my brand hard, like when I already had money. But I could have working harder on my brand from the very beginning while I was working hard on the direct response marketing, which is lead generation, direct to seller, things like that. So you bring out like a huge point on why it's important to actually do it.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get into YouTube, long form content. What do you think you're going to be putting out there?
Well, I've already been doing some more long form informational type things. I do have some entertainment type of content, like, you know, going to see properties or going with me on an appointment or going to check out my latest Airbnb project or things like that. But overall, like the premise of my channel, of like my brand that I want, because the brand is like, how do people talk about you when you're not around? That's how I see the brand. And I want to be known as a real estate guy, entrepreneurship guy, you know, lifestyle, someone that kind of can portray, this is what has helped me in my life. I don't have all the answers. I can help you to the best of my knowledge in this field, right? In this circle of like real estate investing. That's my niche. So that's what I'm going to put content on: real estate investing, all my challenges. I put videos there of like when I did my first $300,000 a month last year and all the mistakes I made. I've also put videos on there of how I lost $100 and something thousand on a fix and flip. Like that's the kind of image I want to portray. It's real, you know, it's real. Like it's stuff that really happens, you know?
Also having fun.
Yeah, and having fun. You know, like I have videos of my trip to my Europe trip I did last year. I went to Greece. I went to where else did I go? Mykonos, Zakynthos, Italy. I don't know.
Have you gotten people to send you JV opportunities just by putting things out there?
Oh,
or even from this video, the 8 million views video? Do you
8 million? Not so much. 8 million, not so much. I got a lot of leads on my website, but they weren't great leads. Let's call them cold leads. So from this video, actually though, it got me a lot of attention from like my peer group, right? So everyone who's a real estate investor and has rentals or it's in wholesale, they kind of know the pain I'm feeling. Like you mentioned, most of your clients or all of your clients have gone through this. Like what I did of raising a rent, it happens probably every single day, multiple times around the US. Like I did nothing special. Like, yes, it was, you know, a shitty situation, but it happens to everyone. So when my peer group saw that the video did so well in the New York Post, like a lot of them reached out like, yo, how you doing? Awesome job. Continue to post, you know, like great work. Like, wow, you're taking so much shit. Like, you know, that's awesome. You know, hey, stay strong, because they would see how many people bash me, you know, and like the New York Post wrote kind of that article saying like how bad landlords are, and myself, you know, it was translated in different languages, which I don't even know what they said, but I'm sure it wasn't good. But
they reached out to you to ask you for permission?
Yeah,
or
they reached out.
Okay.
Yeah, some did. Not all of them though. Some did. The New York Post did. The Daily Wire did. The iHeartRadio did. Chris Cuomo.
And some other they just decided to do like PR.
Yeah, some just.
But they just spoke. They talk shit or.
Yeah, like from what I think I learned from this experience is that when it comes to the PR, if they ask for your permission, they can quote you. If you don't give them permission, they can write an article on their opinion about the video, but to quote your words, I think they need my opinion.
Right.
So, I mean, they need my approval. So, yeah, it was crazy, man. Like, and when people see that, and also one of my mentors, Kent Clothier, called me and he's like, bro, I see you on the front page of Yahoo right now. He's like, what the fuck is going on? And so yeah, I got some attention, and some of my peer group, like they called me up and supported me. So I thought that was pretty cool about it.
It is cool.
Yeah.
Didn't know that your Ken Clothier is your mentor.
Yeah.
Are you in boardroom?
In boardroom, yeah, that's right.
Are you going on this February
in Nashville?
Nashville?
Yeah, I'll be there next week.
We're gonna fly together.
Let's go.
Let's freaking go.
No, man, I didn't know that.
Man. Yeah,
I mean, I saw you in the Scale and Escape. I remember in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
So I actually coached with him one-on-one.
Oh,
with
great.
Kent. Yeah, I've been for a little while, and he's a great dude. He's a great guy.
Yeah, you also were a mentor to one of the guests here in the podcast recently, Willie.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
You were the original mentor of Willie.
Yeah, I mean, this was almost 10 years ago. You know, this is a while back.
Okay.
Yeah, he cold called my office, and he's like, "Yo, I know you don't know me, but I know." I don't know. We knew someone in common. I can't remember who it is from my high school. And he's like, I really want to learn wholesale. Like, what can we do? I'm like, yeah, come to my office tomorrow, you know? And, you know, he's a smart guy, and he already had a lot of drive, and he already had a lot of, you know, brains. That he came from like a background, and he crushed it, man. We did a couple deals together in the beginning. And now he's off to the races, which is incredible. So
yeah, we had an episode. So if you guys are wondering about that episode, it was pretty fire. It was the first episode of the season 2 of Online Hustlers podcast.
Oh, love it.
Yeah. All right. So let's walk through how you're currently doing deals, and you're consistently doing 100 deals. So like, dude, 100 deals means that you're essentially doing how many? Like maybe 10 deals per month or something?
Yeah,
like that,
9 to 10 deals a month. Exactly.
9 deals a month.
Yeah.
And so how are you sustaining that? How is that going?
Well, it's controlled chaos, basically. So wholesale business, I mean, look, there's people out there that have it really tight, but anyone who tells you they have like a really well-knit wholesale business is probably full of shit. Yeah. Like, wholesaling is a game that there's so many variables that you kind of always have to have, there's a lot of variability, meaning, the buyer said this, the seller said this, every situation is different. Yes, you can come up with a 1, 2, 3 step process, but it can get pretty chaotic. So how do I run it? It's really just a marketing and sales thing, like we spoke about earlier. And we talked in the elevator about the Google ads. So we're getting most of our deals through Google ads nationwide. So if somebody searches like sell my house fast, Houston, Texas, or Miami, Florida, or, Austin, Texas, Montgomery, Alabama, I pop up, right? Or I bid to pop up on top. And that is probably 60 to 70% of our lead generation right now. And then the rest is texting, cold texting and stuff, which I know could be a little gray, but my goal is to kind of get away from that as soon as I can. But yeah, we generate leads like that. They come into our business. We have closers and sales team in the office here in Coral Gables that were trained by me and trained from other sales professionals and things like that. And the leads come in, they call them, we close them, and then we sell them for profit.
Are you retargeting those people with Facebook?
We have some retargeting campaigns, yeah, but not on Facebook, on Google mainly.
So Google Display.
Google Display, yeah.
And they'll show up in articles, they'll show up
in the Gmail, all that shit, yeah.
But not in Facebook?
Not on Facebook.
Why? You can literally put $5, $10 a day on Facebook and pop up again. People that are on the fence.
Yeah.
Or just put a video and be like, oh, this company is legit. And I'm going to...
Yeah, no, honestly, there's no good reason. I just, I haven't got there yet. Like, so I had a COO that recently left and he was in charge of the Google ads before me. I had learned about it and I know about it, but he was really the one in the nitty gritty doing the ads and everything. So when he recently left, I took over. And so I'm just kind of like, I had to kind of clean a lot of things up. I had to learn how everything was set up. And then, so I'm just focused on the direct advertising now. And then, yes, eventually I would like to get more involved in the retargeting, but no good reason, honestly.
Okay.
I know I'm missing out on some money. Trust me, I know, but
yeah, it's just that
the credibility
same traffic, also the same traffic that that is going to your Google, that people that are on the fence can be again retargeted, and you can show up in Facebook or Instagram right after they have gone to your website on Google, or the day after that. And you can show up as a video, right? So you're great in video, right? So you can literally tell them a story of a homeowner that you have helped. So if you I'm 100% sure that you have hundreds of stories.
Yeah.
So you can go and say something like, we just helped a homeowner that was in a probate situation, or let's say was in pre-foreclosure about to lose their house. And we got him under contract, saved him from losing the house or going through that stress. Here's the proof of the contract. The way that we helped them was that we offered them cash, or actually we offered them terms. Now the seller is great. He's having a great time. Actually, John, I mean, you can even have a video with the seller, or just tell the story.
Right.
And they'll be like, and then do the call to action like, hey, if you're still on the fence on working with us, just click on the link below, see how we have helped other people like John or Maria, and help them sell their property and get their property off their hands after their situation. And we gave them cash. If cash does not work, that's okay. We also have other ways to acquire property. So we are 24/7 open to messages and calls. So click the link below, and we'll see your application.
I love that.
So you essentially are telling them that even though they visited your page, they didn't take action. You are now showing your face, building a rapport before the call comes, and it gives you a higher percentage of conversion of your Google ads.
Yeah, interesting.
So it increases even just $5, $10 a day, dude.
Wow.
You put it on Facebook, it shows up on Instagram, Facebook. And you'll increase your like landing page conversion,
right,
of the same ads that you're running on Google.
Yeah, no, that's great, because I mean, we already paid for the lead and we're just retargeting the same lead just on a different platform with a I like it. I mean,
everything you gotta do is just insert the pixel in the landing page they use for Google. The pixel starts intaking the information.
It's a Facebook pixel.
The Facebook pixel, which is going to consume, like, it's going to know they're going to be tracked by a cookie. But if they, for example, using Apple, you can also put the API tracking, which now tracks their IP address, tracks a lot of the things.
Oh, shit.
And you feed that information into Facebook of all the traffic that goes, and now you're going to be popping.
That's
right
sick.
After. You become omnipresent.
Yeah.
Right?
For $5-10 a day.
$5, $10 a day.
I know we did Facebook stuff, but I don't think we did that. Okay. I don't think we did that retargeting. I know we have the display ads. I'm gonna look into it. I'll pick your brain after here to figure out exactly what would be the best strategy. But
with the current momentum that you have on TikTok, you can also do it in TikTok.
Oh shit! Really?
Same thing. TikTok feeds. You feed the pixel of TikTok.
Okay.
And you do the same video, except that it's under 60 seconds on TikTok, and do the exact same thing. And the setup for Facebook and TikTok is exact same setup. Like, it's almost the same.
Really?
Almost the same. You're just feeding the traffic that comes from Google. And now Facebook is going to take that, it's going to recognize that traffic, and Instagram is going to recognize the traffic, and TikTok too.
Right.
And this video.
I didn't know that. I don't have really experience with like the TikTok ads or no. I'll get there, and I appreciate the idea. I'm gonna definitely do it. I'm like now I'm like thinking like, damn, how many leads have I lost from not doing that? You know, but it is what it is. Fine. You know.
Actually, we touch base about reoffer campaigns, reactivation campaigns that people are missing out on money on reoffer campaigns. Do you do that? Like doing reoffers, reactivations, re-engaging campaigns, resurfacing.
On Google?
No, the leads that come in.
Okay.
And they haven't been touch base for like more than 3 months.
6
months.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we just have our team like just pound them on the phones and stuff like that. We do it like online. I wouldn't say no, I don't do the reactivation online. I do them all. We text our full database once a month. And then we have a team of 6 junior acts. They're just constantly texting and calling everyone who hasn't answered in the last like 3 years, you know. Like we just have like all the leads in the last couple of years, and that's their world. Like just get deals from that. We did like we did about $300,000 on old deals last year.
Yeah.
Just from calling and texting.
Are you also so are you also asking for their email, the seller's email?
On Google? Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But when you do SMS,
if they get to the point that they're a lead, yes.
Okay.
But our strategy for SMS is, are they interested? If they're interested, all right, now they go to an acquisitions person. And then we just, call and try to get them on the phone as quickly as possible.
I'm not sure if you do this, but so we started doing this even more recently. When we send out emails to kind of be top of mind on them, like, hey, these are 7 ways to sell your house for cash, or this is the things to avoid from selling to a real estate investor, or avoid this type of real estate investor as a subject line. You send an email like that.
That's a good one.
Right? You send an email, homeowner opens that email, and as soon as they open or they click on the link to like find out more, the email link is feeding now, again, the pixel on Facebook, Google display, Instagram, and TikTok.
Oh,
so
what?
now they have clicked on the email that you've sent them through time.
Oh, and then you can retarget that.
And then retarget them once again.
Wow, that's incredible.
Because, yeah.
That's some ninja stuff right there, man. That's good. That's really good.
Yeah,
really good.
You literally just put you put whatever link you have on the email. Let's say you do active campaign or whatever. What do you use for email?
MailChimp.
MailChimp. Okay.
Yeah.
MailChimp. They click on the email. Once there's a trigger link, there's going to be a trigger link based on that click. Once they click on that email, open that email, or you click on the link, have a workflow that sends a webhook to Zapier. You're nerdy.
Yeah, I have Zapier.
So Zapier will capture the information and feed the pixel of Facebook and Google.
Okay.
Because you can feed the custom audience.
Okay.
And that's how now you have a campaign running on Facebook, which is $5, $10 a day. And you're showing up in there.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
That is good.
Yeah, just
I like that. And I like that. I'm going to get there and all that stuff for sure. I need like, I just need a couple hours like diving deep into it and doing it. And then I'll understand a deeper level of like how you're talking about. I understand it in general. But I mean, that's pretty cool.
send us 5 referrals on on our services, and we'll do it for free for you.
Let's do it. Love that. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, man.
But
actually, I wanted to. Yeah, I want to ask you after for an affiliate. So, or I want to see how that works, so I can blast it on my email list and all that.
Let's do it. All right. So, one of the few things that I would love for listeners to know, we've been live for almost an hour, but like the podcast has a little bit less than that. But so you've been in the game for several years now. You have not exited the wholesale business.
No.
Like a lot of people exit the wholesale business. They get tired. They become coach. They go to another niche. They say wholesaling is dead.
Yeah.
Why? Why you are still in the business, and what's next?
Yeah. Good question. That's a really, really good question. There's been a few times I've been wanting to exit the business. I'm not going to lie. There's a few times I've gotten a little frustrated with it. The redundancy of it, but I always go back to the first chapter of Think and Grow Rich. And, I might not get it exactly right, but the premise is that this guy has this land and, he bought the land for a certain amount. I don't know. Let's call it $70,000. And he bought the land to get oil out or to dig things out of it and sell it. And he got tired of it. He made a bunch of money just digging the oil out or whatever. And he sells the land for whatever it is, 100,000. Then the next person buys the land and digs 7 feet deeper and finds all this oil and sells it for $70 million. So the guy's gold, okay, I got right in the bike. The guy's gold was just 7 feet deeper. And I'll constantly go back to that in my mind, meaning, yes, is there other options? Yes, is exiting the business a possibility? Yes, coaching. Yes, YouTube, podcasting, affiliate marketing, e-commerce, whatever the fuck. Yes, that is a possibility. But I think that the gold for me is 7 feet deeper in wholesale. And I think that I still have the passion for it. I still like it, man. And I like the possibilities of what it can bring. I decided to turn on buying rentals 2 years ago, and I bought, close to $10 million worth of rentals in 2 years of good properties, under leveraged, discounted. If I do nothing else, and if a lot of wholesalers do nothing else and just buy a good amount of properties, using the rule of 7, like that's it'll be worth $50 million in, before I'm 50, and I do nothing else. And so what I'm getting at is the gold for me is in this business. And I remember talking to Doug Hopkins. He'd be a good guy for you to meet, but Doug Hopkins is a huge wholesaler in California, LA. And he's, I don't know how old he's, probably even 45, 50, something like that. Really nice guy. And I'm sitting next to him on a bus in a mastermind, and he does like $30 million a year in his wholesale business. Super successful guy, all over TV, really nice guy. And I'm sitting next to him on the bus, and I'm saying, hey, Doug, like, why? I asked him the same question. Why are you still in wholesale? Like, why are you still doing this? Like what else am I going to do? Like, this is what's brought me my living. This is what's allowed me to live extremely, extremely well. Like, what am I going to do now? Go and find a new career? I think that it's unreasonable, and I think it's really, really negligent to think that if you're in a business for, let's say, 6, 7, 10 years, and then you have success in wholesale or real estate, and then you leave and you go start e-commerce or Forex or something like that, to think you're going to be that good that fast, I think is really negligent. And I don't think there's really anyone that has done that very successfully without lying. Throw that out there. But the reason I stay in is because this is what I do, bro. Like, this is what I do. This is who I am. And I'm going to keep doing it. And when other people go and leave and do coaching and this and that, cool. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to dig 7 feet deeper than everybody else. It might take me a little longer because I'm a little slower. It takes me sometimes a little bit to learn. And I like to have fun. I like to travel. I like to do shit. I'm not like the workhorse that works 15 hours a day, but it might take me a little longer, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to dig 7 feet deeper every fucking day. And I'm not going to get distracted by some some bullshit out there.
Yeah. Alex mostly talks about if you do the same work and the daily work that needs to be done in 10-year period, you'll see the vast, like a huge increase on the possibilities that we can do, and the return, it's going to be much greater than if you do it in 1, 2, 3 years that you actually got quick success and then you suddenly want to switch up or suddenly want to do something else. 10 years, like what is your business going to be in 10 years from today, right?
Yeah.
What is your business going to be past that? And that's how ultimately the most successful businesses and the happiest people also think.
Yeah.
Because this is not a short-term game.
Yeah,
right?
definitely not. I remember I had a couple friends that they were looking to get into wholesaling. They were doing other things, and then they got into crypto, and crypto was high, a couple years ago, whatever. And they were, top of the world. And then I get a text, not too long ago from one in particular, like, hey, can you teach me about this wholesaling thing again? And this is like the guy that was like, flying on jets and stuff. So what I'm getting at is sometimes when you chase shiny objects and you go change a bunch of different direction, you don't stick to something for at least 10 years. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're wasting your time, I think.
Yeah.
You could get some quick success in the next industry, but I don't know. I've never really seen someone get extreme, or I've never read biographies or real people that have gathered extremes amount of success without doing the same thing for more than 10 years, period. Yeah. So, I mean, you could be the first one. Hopefully you are, but
you become the best of it too.
Yeah. You could be the first one to do 6 different things in your life and maybe make it, or you could just do the same thing for 25 years and invest and absolutely make it. Like what Grant Cardone says, he's like, I'd rather be rich for sure. Yeah. And these people that jump from industry to industry, I mean, maybe you get rich. I hope you do. I'm not wishing harm on that. I'd rather get rich for sure. I know if I do this shit long enough, it'll be, 100 million easy, like easy. But, if I'm jumping now to e-commerce and whatever, I'm just picking on that because it's in my mind. But
yeah, it takes time to become really good at it. Like it takes time to really get the most out of it.
For sure.
For example, like how many properties you're currently acquiring every year with your wholesale business?
At least 10.
10.
Yeah.
So now compound that.
Yeah.
Right. If you stopped or slowed down your wholesale business, you're probably not going to have 10.
Right.
Right. You're probably going to have less opportunities to get that. And ultimately acquiring properties to hold and, just to do rentals and all this is the wealth building activity that works and has worked for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not so sexy, but it's like you said, the compound is such a nice word.
You can make it sexy.
Yeah, exactly.
You can make it sexy by documenting, having videos.
That's exactly right.
Bringing in interviews, podcasts.
Yeah.
Maybe a few of the properties, making it for other type of business models like short-term rental.
Notes. We did some notes that I thought it was pretty sexy, but it's like kind of 30-year loans. Oh,
how is notes sexy?
Yeah. You're on house.
So
notes.
Explain to us notes for people that haven't done notes.
Man, I got so like I was depressed for like a couple hours when I really like dove into the subject. I'm like, man, I wish I would have known about this. Like, I swear this is something that's incredible. So basically there's this whole other world of notes, right? When you go get a bank from Wells Fargo or Chase or Bank of America, right? They write you a 30-year loan. You put 5% down, 10% down, whatever it is. There's a note. So there's a real estate asset. There's the house. This is an asset. And then the note is an asset as well. So there's 2 assets in this thing, right? Or there's a mortgage note, contract for deed, whatever. But the note, right? This is the mortgage. This whole world is just like real estate. It's just like the house world. Like you can buy and sell this. You can get lending on this. There's people that lend you to buy this. There's people that lend you to create this. You can sell half of it. You can sell all of it. So for example, like I'm doing one right now we bought this house for $47,000 in Lakeland, sold it for $99,000, and I created a note to the buyer, right? Which means that instead of the buyer going to a bank to get financing, they did it through me, right? So they put 10 grand down to the notes, like let's call it $90,000. 47 was the purchase price, etc. So whatever. So I have this note for $90,000, right? It's a 30-year loan. The beautiful thing is that this asset doesn't belong to me anymore. The house belongs to the buyer, but this asset belongs to me. So this asset, I can refinance, I can sell, or I can sell what's called a partial. You could sell half of it or a piece of it. So now I'm selling a piece of this note for 50 grand or 53,000. I'm selling a piece of this note for 53 grand. And I still have a lot of it. So meaning I'm selling like 30% of it for 53,000. So it can get a little complicated, but all I'm saying is that the note thing, it's a whole other world and it's incredible. Like I highly suggest, there's a book by Mitch Stevens called My Life in 1,000 Houses. That book really opened my mind to notes. One of the coaches that I used to coach with, Brett, he introduced me a lot to it. But anyways, Mitch Stevens is a great guy to watch his YouTube and stuff like that.
Huge.
You've heard of him. Yeah, he's incredible. So notes is, I mean, I find it sexy. But see, that's what I mean by digging 7 feet deeper.
Yeah.
You know, like if I just get 3, 4, 5 notes, let's say 3 notes a year, I mean, at 30-year fixed, you know, like I did the math at the $90,000 note. If they pay me for 30 years, I'll get like $380 something thousand for this house that I bought for $47,000. That's like 8x the house for not doing anything. And you just do 3 of those. Imagine, you know, those are 30-year loans, so it's a long time now, but a lot of them will pay you off like in 5 years or 7 years, whatever. But imagine if you just had 20 of those under your belt at 380 to collect each. It's whatever, a lot of money. So anyways, that's one little kind of unknown sexy part of real estate that I found a couple years ago.
I love it, man. How can people again reach out to you or contact you or, you know, find out more?
Yeah, I mean, on my website, raulbolufe.com, my email's on there, which is info@raulbolufe.com. And Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
That's Tony Montana, Miami. The Andrew Tate of real estate.
Oh, shit. But I told iHeartRadio that and they loved it. They're like, don't be called that. It was hilarious. But anyways, yeah, just my name on all socials. Feel free to DM me or email me. Like if you really want a response, I'll reply to you there. And yeah.
Awesome.
Good job.
Thanks for being in this episode. Man. I feel Appreciate like it. We could have gone forever, but
yeah,
we'll bring you in a second time whenever you're ultra famous now, or whenever you've been canceled.
Hopefully not. Hopefully it'll be a long time from now.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for watching this episode and listening to this episode of the Online Hustlers podcast, where we cover real estate conversion and real estate marketing. If you have gotten any value out of it, you liked it, and again, don't forget to subscribe and actually leave us a review. Share this with your circle and community, and follow Raul in social media to let us know how we did.